Okay, let me guess. You've thought a lot off and on about building custom GPTs and AI tools and AI assistants into your program or offers, right? But something keeps stopping you in your tracks. It's this big burning idea of, are you techie enough? Is it going to be too overwhelming? Are people going to like them? And I'm here to tell you that it's not a techie thing, it's a logic thing. But perhaps you're just worried that you're not techie enough. Well, my friends, I have a few thoughts about this that I want to share with you. But first, if you don't know me, my name is Wendy Breakstone, and I'm an AI marketing strategist and custom GPT expert. And I help people that are online coaches and course creators build and monetize, because we want to make money, custom GPTs and AI tools for your programs and offers so that you can sell more, support better, and scale faster without that burnout, without that overwhelm. Okay, so there's two common problems I hear quite a bit when people start to talk to me about they want to build custom GPTs, but maybe they haven't quite embraced it 100%. And one of those things is they're not techie enough. But I also happen to think that besides that, if you set that aside for a minute, a lot of people don't see the connection between the actual custom GPT and where it goes in their programs or offers or courses. And this is where I think that there's a lot of overwhelm or friction that's happening, right? Is because first of all, you're thinking like, how am I going to do the tech? And the other big piece that's kind of like, in your brain bugging the heck out of you is this: where am I going to put them? And how are they going to come together? So here's the deal. Honestly, they're not hard to create. They're not hard to build. But the problem is that you don't have the strategy or the system to follow in order to make it super simple for you. And our brains love to make everything more complicated than they have to be. I don't know why that is. I'm not a neuroscientist, but I know that it happens a lot. And so what I found is that the disconnect there, like I said, between the tech and the strategy is actually what's hanging people up. Because I can say over and over again that it's not a tech thing, and it's really not. It's very simple to build a custom GPT, but the problem is that how you build it in relation to your course and to your the learning style that you want to create for your clients and your students is where the problem comes in. So one of the things that happened is I recently got a note from one of my clients who said this to me. And this is why I bring this up, because she was talking about not having any tech experience to build custom GPTs. But listen to what she said. She said, what really stood out to me about Wendy's program is how she helped me through the strategy first and not the tech. And that's why she was able to build a bunch of custom GPTs that now she's actually building for others and creating a new profit stream. So let me just share with you really quick. When I think about building custom GPTs, here's what I want you to do first. Audit your own program. It doesn't need to take long, but what you need to do first is identify those places in your program or your course where you have a lot of worksheets, or you have those swipe files, or you have templates, or you have even workbooks that are the size of a full novel, right? That's the places to start, because all of those tools that we used to build, all of those assets and materials that we used to build back in the olden days, a couple years ago, before we had these brilliant custom GPTs at our fingertips, was what we would give our clients to help them move forward, right? Because that's the best we could do without having to coach them one-on-one. So now you have to think about, how can I turn these workbooks, condense them down, workbooks, templates, swipes, all those assets into a custom GPT. And typically what happens is that if you let yourself allow the GPT to do it for you, you will find that your workbooks, your worksheets, they can basically come down to 4 or 5 questions. And then, my friend, you let the GPT do the heavy lifting for your clients. You get them to that first place of success so much quicker. And so they stay in action longer, because they're not wading through or swimming through all of your workbooks and swipe files and templates and all of that stuff that we used to do. So you think about, how can you turn the workbook, how can you turn the template, how can you turn the whatever it is into a GPT that's going to do 80% of the work for them. So think about that. It's 80%. The goal is get the GPT to do 75 to 80% of the work for them, and then they are in action, okay? So what happens is once you really take the time to look at your own course and to realize like, wow, I have built something that's super, super powerful, but most likely way too heavy for people that are already short on time, already need to make more money, already run their own business, and let's not forget they actually have a life too, right? We want to make that success map quicker for them. And the way to do that is take a good, hard look at your own program or course. Once you get through that section of like auditing your course and seeing where things have gotten a little bit like overbuilt or over lessened, right? Then you can start to see the forest through the trees. And that's where then you can start to think about more strategically, okay, this workbook could actually be a GPT or two, right? And then they being your client or student has so much less work to do to get to the next module, the next lesson, the next, action point, the next roadmap of success for them, right? Again, I want to reiterate this. It's not just a tech problem. And if you're thinking to yourself like the tech is too hard, I want to challenge you, and I want you to think that actually maybe it's like the strategy or not having the system in place to connect your course and the elements of it into what the GPTs could be. And that's, I think, that missing link for a lot of people. Okay, so let me just give you this quick rundown. Think about it like this. You want to build foundational GPTs, add-on GPTs, or standalone GPTs. And I recommend that if you have a course or a program, you should at least have one or two foundational GPTs in your course already. Okay, if you don't, TikTok, you're not too late, but it's time to get going. And those foundational GPTs really help people with understanding that module one work, I call it, right? That all that heavy duty thinking work that we force people to do in our first module that, kind of burns them out. And so they're kind of not as hip on our program by the time they get to module 2 or 3, right? So those foundational GPTs are really the strategic stuff that you need to teach them in order to get them into action. And once they get into action and they're doing the tactical stuff and the implementation stuff, then you're building add-on GPTs that basically use some of the content that the first foundational GPTs built out. But, again, that brain is like thinking like, oh my God, what GPTs am I going to build first? There's too much to do. I'm not going to do any of it. I'm overwhelmed. It sounds too tech heavy. Focus on one foundational GPT first. If you can get that out the door, just if you build nothing else, that one foundational GPT is going to be so amazing for your clients that they are going to automatically get more success because you've helped them get into action quicker and they're not doing all of that swimming that we talked about, right? So keep that in mind. Now look, if you are interested in my program, I have a program called the AI for Income Accelerator. I teach you soup to nuts how to strategize, build, and implement custom GPTs to monetize your business, to monetize your offer, to make more money. I also have a free community over on School. It's called the AI Powered Business. And I'd love for you to join me over there. It's a great conversation. It's 100% free and you can dive in whenever you want. So with this in mind, I hope this has given you a place to start with those foundational GPTs and what that could look like when you're auditing your course. Focus on that one. Just one GPT at first. There's always time to build more. And once you build that one and you get over that fear and that hurdle of it's not hard, it's not techie, right? Once you build that first one, you're going to be off to the races, my friends. Okay, if you have any questions, please, as usual, feel free to reach out to me. And I hope that you're having a great day. Take care.